Genesis 31. Jacob's got to run away, right? All the decisions he's made, starting to come back to bite him, and so time to go. And then as he's preparing to leave, what's on everyone's mind right now? I don't want to kind of remember what's everyone thinking about. What's the thought processes here? What's everyone after? Stuff. Where's mine? What am I gonna get? What's in it for me, right? Everything's in it for me. And that's been basically the story this out of all of this. It continues to be, what about me? And has anyone taken any responsibility for all that's gone wrong, right? No, it's always someone else's fault. We talked about that victim mentality peeking through last week. Um, Everyone just thinks of themselves as righteous. Like, oh, I'm doing the right thing, and this is I'm looking out for number one, right? And we continue to see that God is yet to be consulted in about any of this or prompted, and yet God still keeps showing up. Um, yeah, it's kind of wild. I think we like they even kind of believe what they're saying. Uh, he cannot see that Jacob can't see that he's been twisting God's agenda and twisting and manipulating God's blessings and promises moving forward. Um, and just to recall what Jacob's response was to the vision from Yahweh, this will be important for today. If we look about right when he first came to the boundary, he looks up, he sees the elevator of angels, right, the stairway to heaven, if you will. God renews the covenant with Jacob. What was Jacob's response? Anyone remember? This is so important.
If you do those things.
If you'll do those things, then you can be my God. If you bring me abundance, if you do, if like all the conditional formatting on God, then you can be my God. As we've been just so fascinating as we've been studying Ezekiel on Wednesday nights. What was the response from Ezekiel, Isaiah, some of those when they see God's presence in a vision, saying very similar? Did they put any conditions on God?
Respect.
So much respect. So much respect. Like both of them are ready to die, like face in the dirt, humbled. Any of that going on here with Jacob?
Trying to deal with God almost like he deals with everyone else.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. He's treating God just like everyone else. It's just all right. So let's Genesis 31. I'm gonna read the first two verses in 17 and 18. 31, 17. It says, "Then Jacob put his children and his wives on camels, and he drove all his livestock ahead of them, along with all the goods he had accumulated in Padan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan." What do you notice?
Is
If I didn't make that obvious enough, I'll read it again. uh, yeah, there you go. Okay. Where'd all this come from in his mind? Himself. Okay. Just when I read all those he's, I'm like, oh, his, my, me, my stuff, right? It's all my stuff. Mm. All right. Someone read 19 to 21.
Laban had gone to shear his sheep. Rachel stole her father's household gods. Moreover, Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean, by not telling him he was running away. So he fled with all he had, crossing the river, and headed to the hill country of Gilead.
All right. So Rachel steals something, Jacob steals something. So, these are one of these translation, and sometimes I kind of scratch my head. Kate and I were just talking about this, why they would translate in the same passage, the same word, they translate it in different ways. But that's the choice that was made in my Bible. So it says Rachel stole her father's gods. Moreover, Jacob stole Laban. It's a weird turn of phrase. And I think the turn of phrase is actually that Rachel stole Laban. What might that mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
His wealth. What else? What did he just run off with? The children, kids and grandkids. You don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to kiss your grandkids. Like, these guys might not be the best people, but they're people, right? They still have family and these connections, and so that, we'll talk more about what Rachel steals at the end of this. So Jacob stole from Laban this idea to say goodbye, right? He says basically you stole off. It tells us he stole off in the night. Things are getting tough. Things are getting uncomfortable. What's the easiest way out? Just run away. Take your sheep. Right? You cause all this chaos and all this turmoil. Now let's just do the easy thing and slip out. And where are they headed? Back home. Back towards home. Yep. Yeah. Back towards the Sea of Galilee, and so we're going to see that this, if you looked at an elevation map, this is a climb. This is the hill country, right? So they're going back. So we're going to get some spatial imagery here too. So I got a map here. This is different kind of the journeys from Abraham, and so Abraham started down here at the bottom right of Ur, came up through Babylon, up to Haran, and then down. So what direction? West. Yeah, go west, young man. And then so Isaac, everything happens here. Jacob goes back east, away from God's presence. This is where all this is happening up here in Haran. And now he's making the journey. So crosses the Euphrates River. Euphrates River is right here. And Laban's, well, we haven't got there yet. So heading east, but not only, heading back west, but he's also heading up back to God. Right? Remember, on the mountain, we're heading back to God's space. And that's exactly where he's going to encounter God. And he's going to be pursued by an overbearing slave master with a meeting at the water. That might be setting up a story we'll read about in Exodus. Actually, when you go read the Exodus story and you lay this on top of it, all the words and the phrases are just stacked on there. Like, it is so clear that's like, this kind of stuff just keeps building. So yeah, we get the it's an exodus. It's another kind of exodus, right? This is an exodus. It's going back to the promised land, back to where you were supposed to be, back to where you could have been 6 years ago, had you not continued to try to wheel and deal your way and all this stuff. So all right, let's keep rolling here. Someone read 22 to 30.
On the third day, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Taking his relatives with him, he pursued Jacob for 7 days and caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country of Gilead when Laban overtook him, and Laban and his relatives camped there too. Then Laban said to Jacob, "What have you done? You've deceived me, and you've carried off my daughters like captives in war. Why did you run off secretly and deceive me? Why didn't you tell me so I could send you away with joy and singing to the music of the timbrels and harps? You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you, but last night the God of your father said to me, 'Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad.' Now you've gone off because you long to return to your father's household, but why did you steal my gods?"
Hmm.
No, they're gone.
They talk about the real God, but then they bring in the false God.
Okay.
into it.
It's all that
kind of
small
odd.
talk.
Yeah. Very. It's all very key to this whole thing. Is where is my allegiance? Where does my help come from? And they're confused. They're seriously confused. How far does Laban have to go to catch them? 7 days. Let me ask you this. What kind of headspace do you have to be in to travel 7 days to have this interaction? Like, just imagine what that would look like for us. How far could you go in 7 days?
Long way.
A long ways. Right now, obviously, we have different methods of travel, but 7 days of traveling, that sounds miserable. Right. And hideous. And for them, even more so. 7 days of riding and, just all the different things. Like, yes, so angry.
Was he after his gods, or was he really after his kid? Because, people lost their gods, those amazing. Even not. It just makes you wonder if possibly it was after that too. Yeah.
Oh, you took my grandkids, but where's my gods? Right? That's what he said. Hey, oh, you took my kids, but where's my gods? Did he ask for his kids back?
No.
He didn't. He didn't say, hey, these are my kids. They're here. No, like, let me kiss them, but I want my gods. I think you're exactly right, Gail. Yeah. And who does he bring with him? Is it just him? Is this a friendly meeting?
No, run all his relatives.
He brings the clan, right? How the son's feeling about Jacob right now? They're angry too, right? This guy took my inheritance. They're out for a pound of flesh. Yes. Oh, that's so good, Kelly. Because that happens, right? So victim mentality, then turning to pack mentality. And then we keep fueling 7 days. God sees what's coming. Yeah. These rival brothers, we talk a lot about rival brothers. It says they caught up with him. That was a cool word. I thought it was kind of odd word. It says he clung to them. It says Laban grabbed on to him. It was like as he catches him, not just caught him, like he clung to him. Could Jacob leave even if he wanted to right now? No, he's in it. So
So Jacob is under God's. He's been under God's protection.
yes.
But without God coming in and talking to Laban in a dream,
Mm-hmm.
it might have been the end of Laban right here.
Yeah, that would be the end of it. With all this fuel, all this animosity, you think God saw that? And what did God tell Laban? Chill. You better watch it, buddy. Watch your step, watch your mouth. Like, be careful. Be real careful. So this is such an interesting way to say this. He says when God says, then God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob." How does he end that?
Good or bad.
Either good or either tov or ra. The tree of tov and ra, right? Good and evil. Like when I read that, I'm like, that's such a weird way. What's this connecting us to? It's all back to the garden of choosing our own path, choosing what looks right to us. Was a very interesting way to say that, because we would expect God to say, "Be careful not to say anything bad to him," but don't say anything tov or evil, good or evil is the words there.
It's almost like just being like superficially cordial.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Laban says, the God of your father.
Oh, oh, yeah.
Said to me,
Yep. The God of your father. It's such a big part of this, Louis, as we continue to go through this. Um, so Jacob and his family, they pitched their tents. Laban and his marauding crew, they pitched their tents, and they're gonna kind of have it out here. And here's the question we keep hearing, and that's the question he asked Jacob: "What have you done?" We heard this phrase before. In the garden, Cain and Abel. Abimelech asked this to Abraham. Pharaoh asked this to Abraham. What have you done? We keep hearing this phrase, and you're right, but it all transports. All this is back to the garden. God coming and seeing and asking, "What have you done?" Now, this isn't God asking, so let's just. But there's these hyperlinks that are kind of bringing us back, and so we got good and evil. We've got what have you done, and then he said, "You've stolen me. You led my daughters away like prisoners of war." He says, "You ran off secretly and stole me." Actually, what it says in a more literal is, "Why did you hide yourself? What have you done? Why did you hide yourself?" Like we're starting to really see hiding himself, taking what is forbidden. We're getting kind of transported back to Genesis 3 here. He said, I would have sent you off with a party, mariachis and a taco bar, the little chocolate fountain, right? If you would have just told me." That's it. Couldn't trust. Yeah. Too much deception. Does anyone believe that he would have sent him off like that? No, absolutely not. Right? Yeah, exactly. There would have been more deceptions. And so, like, on one hand, we're like, wow, that was the kind of the sneaky way out for Jacob. But then also, we're like, probably saved his life. So, when there's so much deception, then he tells Jacob, you have acted with folly. It's just these two snakes manipulating each other. That's just been going at each other for the last couple chapters, right? In verse 29, he said, "I have the power to harm you." He says, "I have the power to do evil to you." That's the word raw again. I have the power to do raw to you. But why didn't he? But the Elohim of your father spoke to me last night. Who's Elohim? Surely it's not your Elohim. Right? Yeah. Isaac's Elohim. Yeah.
He had a pretty powerful dream. Laban doesn't recognize him as God, and yet he took that dream to be so significant.
Yes. Yes.
If it's not his God.
That's right.
It's still full of that message.
Yeah. Right? Because you're right. Laban is so concerned about these little gods. But this God talked and he listened. He's like, ooh, we better pump the brakes. So you're right. He had a very real dream. Did he put any conditions on God? God, if you'll give me this, I'll leave Jacob alone. Okay. But even Laban doesn't respond to God. He just listens. He's obedient. So I was afraid. So I hid myself so you couldn't take my daughters. Verse 30, maybe there's some understanding here on Laban's part. Now you have gone off because you long to return to your father's households. But you stole my Elohim. So the word Elohim is being used interjectively here. So one, the God of your father, Elohim, big E. And now, but give me back my little Elohims. Yeah. The ones that don't talk to me. And they don't expect anything from you. And they let you just kind of do what you want. Right? If you don't like the way the dice is rolled, what do? Switch gods. Roll them again. Right? Make new ones.
I'm in the thrift shop.
Yeah, give the old ones to the thrift store. Only if they're broken, though. Only if they don't work. This is wild. Let's keep going. 31 to 35.
Answered Laban, I was afraid because I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has your gods, that person shall not live. In the presence of our relatives, see for yourself whether there is anything of yours here. And if so, take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the gods. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two female servants, but he found nothing. After he came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them inside her camel's saddle and was sitting on them. Laban searched through everything in the tent but found nothing. Rachel said to her father, "Don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I'm having my period." So he searched, but he could not find the house. Excuses.
Was afraid, so I hid myself so you couldn't take your daughters, but I know who has your statues. Yeah. Put to death whoever has those. I think that's a little bit of a rash statement. Yeah. I mean, he must not have. Whose life is he putting at risk? Rachel, his favorite wife, the beloved, the loved, putting her life at risk with this statement. Was that necessary?
No. But you wonder. Rachel was married to Jacob, and Jacob had a God, but somehow she didn't have that same.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, why would she even steal him in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it to get her dad to chase after her?
I don't think so. Put a pin in that. We're going to end with that. We're going to end with that. And so Laban goes hunt. It's so funny. They travel 7 days in one verse. And then in this little hunting party, like the narrative just comes to a crawl, right? Whose tent did he go in and what did he do? So I think there's really something we're supposed to be keying in on here. Um, it says search. The word searched is mashash, and it means to feel or to grope. So he goes to Laban, or he goes to Leah's tent, and he finds nothing. He searches all over, goes to Rachel's tent, and he's groping around. So my only thought was that it must be dark because it's the word is to grope or to feel around. So he's groping around, he's feeling around in a dark tent, and he's deceived by an animal skin as he feels. Just the connections just keep building, right? Who else was deceived by an animal skin as he groped? It's the same word in that story. Isaac. It's the same exact word that Isaac Mashash, he felt the skin and he said, this doesn't feel right, but that feels like Esau. And now Rachel does the same thing to her dad. So like husband, like wife kind of situation. That's what I love that part. Jacob said, feel my smoothness. There, Jacob tells his mom, my father will feel my smoothness. And so she puts the animal skin on for the deception. Says, don't let your hot anger be upon me. That's what she tells him. Don't let your hot anger be upon me. I cannot rise, for the way of the woman is upon me. All right, let's just finish it. 36 to 42.
What is my crime? He asked. How have I wronged you that you hurt me down? Now that you have searched through all my goods, what have you found that belongs to your household? Put it here in front of your relatives and mine, and let them judge between the two of us. I have been with you for 20 years now. Your sheep and goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten rams from your flocks. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. I bore the loss myself, and you demanded payment for me for whatever was stolen by day or night. This was my situation. The heat consumed me in the daytime and the cold at night, and sleep fled from my eyes. It was like this for 20 years. I was in your household. I worked for you for 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flocks. And now you have changed my wages 10 times. If God, my father, the father of Abraham and the fear of Isaac, had not been with me, you would surely have sent me away with empty-handed. But God has seen my hardships and the toil of my hands. And last night he rebuked you.
Mm-hmm.
You going?
No, that's good. Now who has the hot anger? Jacob, right? Tables get flipped after he couldn't find his household of gods. What is my transgression? Is what he asked. What is my sin? How have I wronged you? Like I'm a common criminal, right? You changed my wages 10 times. We're not told that was accurate in any way. Right, everything just keeps getting blown up. He says, put all this in front. He starts using some legal language. Put all this in front of us so us and our brothers can act as mediators, right? These rival brothers. Put it all in front of us so we can act as mediators. It's 20 years I've worked for you. your lamb, right? That's Rachel's, your lambs have not miscarried. I bore all the losses of the lost animals, right? You can just, you hear these big statements. I've been with you for 20 years. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. I bore all the losses myself. You demanded payment for whatever was stolen by day or by night. He just, poor Jacob. You feel so bad. But he's been real suffered, right? Victimized, and yeah, poor guy.
Probably really having a over what God told him that year.
Right. Yeah, like, is this worth it? Uh but verse 42, here it is again. What'd you notice? The God of my father. He did not claim God. Is this my Elohim? So not only does Laban see, he looks at Jacob and says, the God of your father. It's one thing for someone else to look on you and think, yeah, that's not your God. But he doesn't even say it himself.
Yet he claims his protection.
He does. He does. He wants all the goodness from God. Lord, give me your blessings. And I'll even, whatever I do, that good things that I think come from, I'm going to count that as you also. Right? God vindicated me. It's my grandpa's God. It's Dad's God. It's never my God.
We always hear the term, the God of Jacob.
Uh-huh.
Stood out here was the God of my father, God of Abraham, and the fear of us.
Mm.
I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of interesting.
So God of Abraham. And that fear is connected to reverence. So you have reverence for your brother, a fear of your brother-in-law, and the fear of grandpa's God. Yeah. It's an interesting way to say that. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. But never my God. But always God is vindicating me. God looked upon my oppression and he has acted as a mediator. That's what he said in 42. God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hands last night, and he rebuked you. As we read Jacob's response, is there any truth here? They're half truths, right? Did God really speak to Laban? Yeah. So there's this blending of what's true in these manipulations and these twistings to make it sound better for me, to make this grand speech I'm giving work better for me. So it's this mixture of truths and half truths and twisting. So just listen to Jacob's logic here. God said he will be with me and bless me. So anything I deem good must be a blessing from God. How dangerous is that? It's so dangerous. If God is with me, then whatever I do must be from God.
Wonder about how God thought Jacob's, he's got these promises,
Yeah.
but he keeps having to pull him, rein
Yes.
him in,
Correct.
and finally tells him to get out of there because God's probably thinking, I have all these things to look after, but this guy's taking all my time.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Right. So this narrative introduces this idea of Tov and Ra here. Who's defining Tov and Ra? Who's defining good and evil here? It's Jacob. It's not God. Nobody's asking God. Jacob's defining what's good and what's evil. And now even Laban's bringing in this language of good and evil. So we got these two different sides who are defining for themselves what's good and what's not good. we have these in our lives with situations, and maybe it's personal conflicts, maybe it's politics, maybe it's whatever, where these different sides are defining for themselves what's good and what's evil, and the other side is flipped, right? It's their definition of what's good and evil. And what's going to happen when those two groups keep coming together like this?
Laban and Jacob, they started out, Jacob just wanted to get a wife. And then Laban just deceived him and gave him Leah.
Correct.
Yes, it started out so in our relationships that they start out bad.
Yeah.
If you don't work on them and try and correct them.
Yes. Yes.
It was probably just a matter of things building up over the years and they were strong.
You're right. And that snowball effect. I love that where you're going there with that. Jacob comes in and he starts doing things outside of their culture, right? Roll the stone away. And then Laban deceives him. And then it's this back and forth. And every time it just snowballs and it snowballs, right? To the point where I think they're ready to kill Jacob. Like, for one, that's bad for Jacob. For two, can you imagine what would happen for you to kill God's chosen? Probably not some real good things there, right? So this has the potential to just be a dumpster fire of a disaster, and it really is, honestly. But it's only by God's grace that this story keeps moving forward. I laughed at his accusation against Laban. Oh, you hurt me first. That's what he says. You stole from me first, right? You're the one changing my wages, right? And I think that's exactly what you're talking about, Gail, is that, oh, I did wrong by you, but you did it first. What happens when the cycle never stops?
Deception brings deception.
That's it. That's it. And nobody says, hey, maybe we should pump the brakes and start over, right? Maybe we should bring some reconciliation. Maybe we should look to make this right. And nobody ever does that. Well, for one, because nobody asked God about it. It's just so funny. Jacob gets more airtime in Genesis than anyone else. I think, well, why? Like, Noah, he was a good dude, man. Why don't we get 30 chapters of Noah? Ah, so good. So good. God does, he can, and just a whole lot of what not to do here. He says, I stole by day, you stole by, he's like, I'm basically what I think, what I hear when I read that like 4 or 5 times just in a row, just like, what does it have? What I hear him saying is, I am less unrighteous than you. Now, that's a double negative. That's bad English, right? Melina's looking at me like, how does that change it, though, when it's phrased like that? Like, I would say, I'm more righteous than you, but I don't think that's what he's saying. Ah, I think you're exactly right, Melina. Okay. That's what I see. Yeah, I did whatever, but I'm less bad than you. Do we do that? At least I didn't kill anyone. At least I didn't. Oh, I don't have my life in order, but at least I'm not doing that. That's what I hear when I read this, and I read it and I read it and I read it, and I'm like, that's what comes through. My sin hasn't been as bad as yours. That's why God rebuked you and not me. Okay, you're right. Yes. Yeah. a great point. What Jacob twist as a rebuke saved Laban's life. I think, I truly believe it.
Much as I think that Jacob did things that most normal people wouldn't because he counted on that protection.
Yes.
Jacob, for that.
It's like the cartoon with the little dog, thinks he's tough, but he doesn't see the great big dog behind him, right? What else? Just bull, whatever. I'll take on the world. That's how I see Jacob. My God will come in and bail me out. Not my God.
He kind of,
My grandpa's God will come in and bail me out.
he kind of says it that way when he says, God had not been with me, he would send me away in his hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. I'm not wrong.
Well, the way you go before, when you come here,
Yes.
go on, you go, God, I didn't do anything like, it was bad like that. But then he'll say back to you, well, look at the stars you left in the village.
Come on.
And did that,
Come on.
all the hurt, that ruined other people's lives that you don't even realize.
That's right.
And so,
Such a good
stuff.
Such a good point. Like we come to God, we ask forgiveness. God forgives us. Does that change all that, the trail of chaos that we've left, the trail of hurt? It doesn't.
Forget what we did and acting on God and say, what do you do?
That's it. Just so I'm going to wrap up real quick. The word teraphim it's anytime I see a new word in the Bible, I'm always interested. So this is the first time we're interested into this word teraphim, and it's the word for household gods. And it's these small statues that were placed in homes, tents, houses, or in the home of a deity, a shrine, or a temple. A quick survey of the word's usage in the Hebrew Bible shows that the role they played in Canaanite and Israelite religion. After this, you see this so many times all throughout. I had some verses, we don't have time to get into it, but basically it's consulting these idols, and what we start to see is it's through divination, right? So we've already been introduced to divination with Laban. He says, hey, I by divining, God is with you, right? God is blessing you, and then it's these ritual. One, I was telling you, one of the divinations I saw, one is the casting of lots. We see that with Jonah and the sailors. One was they cut a liver out of an animal and they splat it on the floor, and then someone sits there and interprets what the goo splatter was. Oh, this is what this means from this God.
You got feeling.
Yeah, that's your gut feeling. Oh, that's your gut feeling. Right. So this is the kind of stuff they're doing by divining. Oh, that icky got all the way to the wall. So that means this.
So what about these people that have gods, like something wood and or metal, that one, and then somebody takes it from them. It's just an object, why don't we just make another one
That's
instead of going causing chaos,
Yeah. These put some very real value into these, and people take this seriously. That there's stories about the ephod and just so many here. But I guess I really wanted to close with this. Who took the household gods? Why? If these things are divining, if these things are necessary to see ahead, why does she need that? That's what she places her trust in. How long has she known Jacob now? 20 years. God's chosen. She's known him for 20 years. She's been married to him now for 6 years. Does she trust God? So he doesn't believe. He might say, God is protecting me. He doesn't even call him his God. And so what does the people around him think about his God? They'd rather have the household gods, the backup plan. Just that to me, with her stealing these, is she still puts more faith in those trinkets than she does in the God of creation, who honestly is the only reason that her husband's not dead right now.
In my devotion this morning, I read a word, said adamant, that some people, that like when their free friend, he's talking to Job, that they was adamant about what they believed, it would not change their
That's it.
thought, even though they.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Yes. His family would have lived. I'm gonna leave it right there, because I think to me that speaks so loud. When people look at us, what does that mean to them? What kind of witness do we have? What are we living out? When someone watches how we respond to situations, when someone watches how we navigate struggles and conflict, what do they think of? Oh, they're Christians. What does that look like to them? When our kids look at us, what's that?
Hypocrisy.
Yeah. I think to me, like, this is his beloved, like, and yet she's seen nothing in him that tells her that your God is enough. Lord, we thank you for your word. Lord, we thank you for these hard truths that we come up against, Lord, and we have to ask ourselves hard questions as we navigate our lives and our paths, and we have to ask ourselves the questions: what do people see when they see us? What do our kids see when they watch us navigate conflict, and to have opportunities of generosity, and how do we respond when we just try to live this path? Are we the witness that would invite others to want to be a part of what you're doing? Lord, we thank you for your mercy and your kindness and your goodness that just continues to drive the story forward, that you don't give up on your people, Lord. But Lord, I pray that we would be the people that help you out. That you're not having to clean up our mess, that you would be honored by the life we lived, a life of holiness, a life set apart, a life that isn't just looking to cash in on your grace and cash in on your grace and cash in on your grace, Lord, that we would be a different kind of people, Lord. So I pray for each and every one in here as we try to identify what that looks like for us, Lord. Would we be that kind of people, Lord? Help us to have a great rest of our day today. We love you, Lord. We pray all this in your name, Jesus. Amen.